Made on Zencaster.
This episode of Zero to Hero will not be censored. Normally we censor our episodes, but this one we believe means too much to be censored, and I think everyone needs to hear it. Please welcome on our guest Clayton with Billy and myself as we talk about Pride Month.
Whoosh.
Next on the list, we're witch hunting today, boys.
Watch all of us get canceled from this episode.
For real. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Billy.
And I'm Jimmy.
We are the Bulk Skull of podcasting, and we want to welcome you to the numbskullery that is the Zero to Hero podcast.
Where creators and fans come together to share their love of their fandoms.
Welcome to another weekly episode of Zeo to Hero, where I am joined by my lovely co-host, the one that they still can't find on the Travel Channel with Finding Bigfoot, Jim.
You do know that they do that whole entire show as a suspense so they can make as many ads as they can for it. It's all a conspiracy, man. It's all a conspiracy.
You want to know another conspiracy?
What?
All right. What do you call a beehive without an exit?
I'm done. No. You bad.
It's unbelievable.
Why? Why do you do these things to me? All right. Well, we have a special guest with us today.
I am the gayest and greatest, the person your mother warned me about, the missing person from Unsolved Mysteries. My name is Clayton, and I am the creator of the web animated series Neon Lights.
I'll give you credit. That was a good intro. I like that one.
and the sole actor of Clayton 2023, right?
Sure, that is the upcoming tale about the tragic downfall of a mid-30s life in this horrible cancel culture that we call America.
And the tagline is just Clayton.
That's homophobic, and this is Pride Month.
Can we have like a mid-season like introduction of two wacky characters along with this?
No, that is not in the contract for the show. But I heard there's room for some great fanfic on Wattpad, so feel free.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
I was hoping we could go like a Two Broke Girls kind of thing with this.
I was gonna go two guys, one girl at a pizza place, but okay.
Oh no.
Oh, come on.
No, God, dog, G.
So Jim and I are the two guys.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Okay.
You and I are the two guys.
Liz is
Billy
the girl.
No, Billy the
and
girl.
Billy's the pizza place.
Never mind. I had something. I was gonna say something, but never mind. I'm gonna hold that one back.
Yeah, it's Pride Month. You can't say shit to me.
Let it out.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We're gonna re-release that in a version as in July.
So, anyways, how's it been going since we last talked to you, Clayton? I know it's been a good minute.
Things have been going very well. I am incredibly busy. I thought things were going to slow down there for a little bit, but they haven't, which is both good and bad. So I'm currently working on a project here in Houston, which is nice, except it's kind of taking me away from my own project, Neon Lights. And I am relocating to the Dallas area within the next month and a half. So things are busy. But busy's good.
Welcome back to the DFW area.
Thank you.
Where the traffic actually moves. It's so nice.
It does, God. Unlike in Houston, where you're stuck behind a lady at Starbucks for 3 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't do Starbucks.
And that's why I don't do Houston.
Oh yeah, that too.
I just don't like Houston. The fact that like everything sticks to me. It's terrible.
It's
Houston.
wet here.
And there's no breeze. There's no breeze. It's all wet and hot and humid.
Moist.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say moist?
Yeah.
Is that still acceptable?
Oh, you can definitely say it.
Okay.
Moist.
Yeah.
You just lost like 50 listeners. They just immediately
the
shut
only
off.
the only 50.
You gotta add some sting on the end of it too. Moist.
Oh yeah. Well,
Mm.
there goes our whole fan base. Just
Well, this episode just failed. All right, guys, we'll be back next week.
yeah.
Whoosh.
But when you're moving back up to DFW, you're getting out of Houston.
Mhm.
You have your project and everything else going. Do you want to talk about your project real fast or no? Or is this
Um,
something a little personal?
So I'm currently in a short 10-minute play. There's a great play festival here in Houston that happens every year called Fade to Black, which
Ooh.
is a play festival that celebrates the works of Black playwrights. So it's a series of 10 plays that happens over the course every night over the course of a weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So there's 5 short plays, then there's intermission, and then there's the other 5 short plays. So the play that I am in is a retelling of the night Hattie McDaniel won the Oscar for Gone with the Wind, when she was not allowed to be seated at the actual Oscar ceremony with the other white nominees. So yeah, it's a really cool piece. I'm blessed to be a part of it. One of my theater mentors is directing it, and so it's been a really cool experience. So that is coming up at the end of June, and then July is moving month.
Very cool. Do
Yeah.
you have a website or is it on Facebook or something like that for your plays?
Oh, that you're talking to the wrong person. But I'm sure if you just Google Fade to Black Houston or Fade to Black Play Festival, you can find all the information about it.
Okay.
It is playing at the Match Theater, which is in Midtown Houston,
Okay.
June 23rd, 24th, 25th.
Sweet. I'll throw that in the description for everyone.
Welcome back to another episode of just stealing sounds from just Clayton.
He's
Look at
not
my face.
amused.
You know I'm not amused.
I feel like he's not in a good mood tonight.
No, I'm in a great mood. It's just this
Yeah.
right here.
It was the
It's painful.
It was the orange. Whatever you went and got.
Dick.
What the?
Wait.
Wait a minute.
I didn't think he used that creamer on that.
I gotta open up my throat.
Oh Lord, here we go.
It's Pride Month. You can't say shit to me.
The legalities of this.
The legality of all this.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
whoosh.
Clayton, you wanted to come on. We want you to come on, and we want to talk about this because Pride Month this month,
Sure.
June,
Absolutely.
and we are corporate chills. We know
Mhm.
exactly what we are, and we wanted to have Clayton come on and talk to us about gay stuff.
Hey, it's what I do best. Yeah. So it's Pride Month. June is a time where major cities and now suburban cities all over the country are celebrating Pride, which for your listeners that don't know started with the raid of the Stonewall Inn. There was a resistance that fought back against the police raids. Obviously Marsha P. Johnson, which was one of the famous trans women of the time, threw a brick, and that's how it all started. We've come a long way, but not far enough. There are still people that are like, why do you need a whole month, and why do you have to flaunt it in front of us? Well, visibility matters. And I know growing up that for me, if I had seen public displays of queer representation, it would have made my coming out experience a whole lot easier. So yeah, it's Pride Month. A lot of people have kind of mixed feelings about like the corporateness of Pride now. At 11:59, all of the corporations on Facebook changed their logo. 11:59 p.m. May 31st.
Yeah.
Everything goes rainbow starting at midnight on June 1st.
Exactly.
But you know what? I am so happy that even if it's corporate pandering, that at least we have something.
At least we got some kind of corporate pandering.
Right.
Man.
So yeah, I'm here to talk about gay shit.
Like
So
Christmas
listen.
gets 3 months. Like, can we at least get one? Damn. Okay. And you want to come in and talk about gay representation in media,
Right.
which is getting better. It's getting a lot better.
Yeah, in some regards it is. In some regards there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
There is a lot of I find in the nerd subcultures, there's a lot of gatekeeping that goes with that, where if you are not a straight cisgendered white male, your opinions aren't valid.
You want to call some groups out?
No.
Okay.
No. But I have had to leave a couple Facebook groups because of it. And just because I don't want that sort of toxicity in my life. I get that enough from YouTube and Instagram. So
Wait. God damn, that was a big bus to drive over.
Shots fired. Shots fired. It's
Like,
Pride Month. You can't say shit. That, by the way, that is my go-to excuse. Anytime anybody has a problem with me, it's Pride Month. You can't say that to me.
Oh my god, that was
At least it's not us. Okay. It's not just us. Okay.
But yeah, so representation in nerd culture is definitely one of the things that I thought we could talk about tonight. Just because there's areas where it's really powerful and important. We're starting to see a lot of that happen in mainstream movies. Even the latest Doctor Strange movie, where America, who is famously an LGBTQ character, has 2 mothers. The problem with that, and the way that I find that these are huge issues, is that they're filmed in such a way that the scenes can be edited out.
Yeah.
For other markets,
like China.
like
China's a
China.
big one.
Right, you can't show
Egypt.
any queer representation in certain markets, which I understand.
Yeah.
But also these corporations that have these rainbow colored logos in the month of June. Like, if you're really an ally, then you are bowing down to the almighty dollar and editing these scenes out.
Yeah.
So that's definitely where I have some issues.
No, I totally get that. Like, we have, Pride Month, and these corporations, they're like, oh yeah, no, we're totally here for you. Like, we'll do this, yeah. And then, like, the second the dollar says anything, it's out the window. Like, look how fast, like, I know it's not Pride, but look how fast John Cena, like, bowed to China. Look how fast he bowed out to China when he said, like, Taiwan was his own country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just instantly. Like, 2 days later. Yeah. And it just comes with the money. That's what it is now.
Sure.
It's, profitable-ish to be, an ally in America and Europe, but not anywhere else.
Right. So that's why, representation is still so important. There are countries that, have death penalty laws for, queer communities.
Yeah.
So I think I'm very fortunate and blessed, even though there are as many problems as there are in America. At least I am not yet being put to death for my sexual orientation. Stressing the word yet.
Well, you do live in Texas.
I sure do.
I
sure do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But but I have been enjoying the fact that we've been getting more and more LGBTQ representation, and especially in, like, younger media. So it's not, it's becoming more of just, it's there and it's just normal. And I've been enjoying that a lot more too, because, dude, you and me growing up, like, in the 90s, there was no such thing as a gay, like, teenager. Like, that didn't exist. Like, we had Melrose Place, but they had the kiss off camera.
And a lot of things were coded gay,
Yeah.
so that if you knew the signs and you knew what to look for, you knew the character's orientation.
Yeah.
However, if you didn't know to pick up on those signs, then you would just kind of be um,
SOL.
yeah. Well, I mean, you wouldn't notice really that character
Yeah.
was part of the alphabet community. So yeah, as a kid, like watching Power Rangers, there was not anything, any representation, any coding of any kind.
Mm.
However, the latest season just won the
The
GLAAD
Glad
Media,
Award, yeah.
for representation for youth, which I think is fantastic. And a lot of these shows that kind of I don't, is Power Rangers still on Nickelodeon? I know they did
Yeah.
like a big Netflix thing, like
Yeah.
Oh no, they just switched. The latest season's now on Netflix, not on
Okay.
Nickelodeon anymore.
okay,
So they just moved over.
that's kind of what I thought. But like
Yeah.
Nickelodeon was a huge pioneer of that, with Korra.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Legend of Korra. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was amazing.
Mhm.
Oh,
And even though like that final season of Korra was, I think, streaming only, it was
Yeah.
really weird how Korra got the short end of the stick. But her
well,
and
that's that's how they got the short end of the stick was they were gonna make Asami and Korra happen, and Nickelodeon was like, well, we can't show that on network TV, but we could do it on streaming.
right,
Yeah.
right, and so
So the creators stuck to the guns, and we got that amazing. It wasn't a kiss, but it was a really good scene still.
right, and so that's what I'm talking about with like queer coding, to where like if you knew what to look for, then you knew what that meant. You knew what that scene meant. If you didn't, then maybe they were just two friends going off together in the spirit world.
Like most historical, really close friends who shared a bed together,
Right, they were quote unquote roommates.
or Lafayette, who was he was very straight Frenchman who was followed around by two oiled up men constantly, and with a small
Mhm.
dog.
Sounds like my kind of evening.
It sounds like, yeah. I was gonna say that's okay. So yeah, a lot of these shows are definitely um, relating, LGBT themes towards
Mhm.
kids, which I think is great. Steven Universe
Oh,
was a
Steven
big
Universe
one,
was fantastic. Yeah,
and I haven't seen it, but Owl House I have heard,
I've watched Owl House, and it's adorable, and I love it.
and
It does it very well, very
She-Ra.
tastefully. Mm-hmm.
And I know
Voltron.
there's like a lot of gay shipping in Voltron. I didn't make it far enough in the series to know if that was expanded on.
Well,
Um,
there is a straight up multiple gay characters in Voltron later in the series.
oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. But yeah, and this is one of those things where, conservative right wing media says that we are pushing an LGBT agenda, um, because we are forcing it, on children
Oh yeah,
and pressing. But the thing is like, the LGBT youth has, one of the highest suicide rates in the country,
Yeah.
highest rates for homelessness, and so we're not pushing an agenda. We're letting people know it's okay.
Yeah. Like
Um,
you're
if-
not broken, you're normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I did not have any gay influences growing up on TV on shows that I watched, and I did not turn out to be straight.
Yeah, you were showing this all this straight propaganda in school, and look how you turned out.
Right, watching Saved by the Bell. Like I did not want to date Kelly Kapowski. I wanted to be Kelly Kapowski. I watched Power Rangers, and a lot of my friends growing up, like their first crush was Kimberly Hart,
Yeah.
and mine was definitely not. I was a more Adam Park was my first crush.
Billy in the tank top, that was great. I'm not gonna lie to you.
My
Like he got buff. Oh my god.
He did not get buff. He was always buff. I was watching an interview with him that said that they made him wear like baggier clothes.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
In those
Because he
earlier
is
seasons.
gorgeous.
He is a beautiful specimen of a man.
He is.
Yeah. So
We can get into that too if you want to. Like Billy or David Yost got dead dirty, very dirty,
He did. He did.
and that was mostly actually because of Saban himself. Like he was not okay with gays at all for a long time, and he wasn't gonna he was an ass about it, but
I mean, you know,
he's from a
I
different culture too. So
sure, and I definitely can't comment on that because I was not in the room and not present when, you know, those things were happening. All I can do is, you know, take what David Yost has said and take him at his word on it.
yeah. Well, other people come forward and said stuff happened, and so
Yeah.
you know, if all the stories line up, and all the stories line up,
Sure.
so we'll leave it like that. I know I'm just happy he got the help he needed when he got it,
Right.
and we still have him around, and I'm really happy with that because he's an inspiration for a lot of people.
Yes, and I got the opportunity to tell him that when I went to the South Texas Comic Con,
It's awesome.
and met him, and so that's the thing is that like I definitely identified with his character, being kind of like the nerdy like outsider, unpopular kid, and so I told him that, and also how then hearing his coming out story later on, definitely that made me relate to him on a personal level, like to the point where like my wallet is even like a Blue Ranger wallet,
That's
just because related to the character so much.
that's cool.
Whoosh.
Si te gusta Omar como el Red Corner Ranger, puede que te guste el podcast Zero Hero. El Red Corner Ranger es un orgulloso socio de Zero Hero Network. Si quieres ver más de él o de nosotros socios, como Beck Rangers, Neon Lights y nosotros otros amigos de programa, síguenos en las redes sociales. Zero Hero.
Whoosh. Yeah, so back to the topic at hand. So talk to me about y'all's like first kind of experience seeing like characters in media that were representative of the, LGBT community. Like what was that like for y'all?
I think we had our first experience actually with Quantum Leap. Because no, it was ER. There was a gay character in ER.
Oh,
Yeah, and our mom sat us down. It was like, well, sometimes people like their same gender, and then continue that conversation for like three months.
Okay.
So yeah, we're pretty desensitized to it.
Nah. God damn. Yeah.
Our mom. I'll give our mom props. She did talk to us about that kind of stuff and made sure that we were aware that people exist and that we're all different. And so I'm really proud of that fact. But she's still kind of a crazy person. But I'll give her props all day long for making sure that we're not some bigoted a-holes about stuff.
Well, and a major thing was like characters that were specifically outright written as gay in the early 90s were usually like an HIV/AIDS victim.
Yeah.
Right,
HIV/AIDS or like a criminal or
it was
dying
a plot
or
device.
Damn.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we had a.
It viewed us in a negative light, and then we had Will and Grace.
Yeah, we're actually rewatching that right now, which has been great.
Nice. Which that's the first mainstream sitcom to predominantly feature gay characters, but also like in its own right, there were a lot of negative stereotypes that were perpetuated by that show.
Like look at Jack, like the character of Jack. Like it's not negative altogether, but it's very flamboyant.
Right, sure,
Yeah.
and that doesn't mean
funny,
that there
but,
aren't people like that exist. I remember very specifically growing up watching that show with my parents, knowing that I was gay, knowing they were ultra conservative and ultra religious, and they would watch that show, and I would think to myself, like, you can't watch this show and laugh at these jokes and be supportive of this while in real life hate
you would
this
have run these
community.
people down with a car. Yeah,
We have met some people like that.
we met a couple people like that.
Yes,
Yeah, that's always fun.
Specifically, was told to my face that they wanted to first 48 axe murder Jim. So
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I do too, but that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. So.
Hey, don't worry. There's a long list of people who want to do that to me. So get in line, Clayton. AKA Snowflake.
Oh my god.
In this
Oh,
conversation
But-
for no weird reason.
I put my name as Snowflake in this chat to remind me, right, to talk about. So Marvel is one of these woke corporations, quote unquote woke, that a couple of years ago with their new Warriors relaunch. So they came up with two non-binary superheroes named Snowflake and Safespace,
What in the world?
and it was the like I understand like the intent behind it and like the wanting to be supportive,
And their
but
infinite wokeness.
I think that did more damage to the gay community than the murder of Matthew Shepard. Like that
Wow.
was, I mean,
Yeah.
it was in such poor taste.
Yeah.
And
I'm a straight guy in that. I'm like, wow, I can't believe they actually did that.
yeah, if you Google like images of them too, and I believe at one point they were in an incestuous relationship with each other.
Oh no.
I don't know for sure. I never really got into the books. I read
Oh,
articles
I
about
was
it.
looking
You
it
know
up.
how
I'm looking it up.
you know how those articles can kind of sometimes get misconstrued and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
But I vaguely remember seeing something.
As long as
about
I'm
that.
not reading off Breitbart, I think you're fine.
But it's like these are characters that were pulled like right from someone's like deviant art
Oh,
Wattpad.
No
like,
joke. It's a real thing.
just-
Yeah.
Just awful.
Look at it got so bad that he became pixelated.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
That's no joke.
and
it's really-
but and then that did damage to the pride itself. Like it did damage for us, and then then we have Superboy coming out as bi, and
Right.
that's not it's Superboy. It's not even a main character. It's not.
Well, it's so in the comic he came out in Superman Son of Kal-El
Yeah.
was the series. He came out in the 4th or 5th issue.
Yeah.
And so what was great about that is you're taking a character that has some established lore,
Mm-hmm.
but not like 40 to 50 years of history.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you are, kind of building and developing his character.
Yeah.
At this point in the comics, is the new Superman. People that hadn't picked up a comic in 30 or 40 years, though, hear that Superman is now bisexual, and man, people lose their fucking
They had
minds.
a tit fit.
Yeah.
And I was a part of a few conversations with that, and I had to do the nice big eye roll, which you can't see without squinty eyes. But still, I did an eye roll like, how was the last week I started the
Sorry.
comic? Oh, it's been like 50 years. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's not even the main continuity. It's not the main continuity. It's
Right.
not.
And,
So
well,
what the hell do they care?
And another
I know
thing
why they
was like
care.
when Tim Drake shortly prior to that came out as bisexual,
Mm-hmm.
as Robin, and
Remember,
I was surprised there wasn't a huge backlash over that.
No one
but
liked Tim.
Tim is one of the best Robins. Shut your mouth. But the one that I think has done the most good, and I stand by this, and I think it was beautifully done, and DC deserves all the props, was Harley and Ivy.
Yes. Oh God, yes. That one was fantastic.
Talk about a well-written, well-developed relationship.
And if you want the short version of that story, watch the show, Harley Quinn. It's really fun. Watch it. It's not exactly the comic, but it's the short version.
Is it the animated version?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
Yeah.
one. It's fun.
And the thing is like, people were saying like couple goals with Harley and Joker, and I'm like, no, that's like an abusive.
That's a very abusive, terrible
relationship. Like that is not a relationship you want to model yourself after.
Stockholm syndrome.
But it started with the 1990s Paul Dini Batman the Animated Series. There was an episode where it was Harley and Ivy, and I think that might have been the name of the episode. I don't remember. But Harley breaks up with the Joker and moves in with Ivy. and they were just like friends at that point. But then that relationship started getting explored in the comics, and then subsequently the new animated series, and like they have a fantastic, healthy relationship.
Supportive relationship, and it's
Yeah.
like it's really, really, really adorable. And like
Hmm.
crime and violence, yes, but it's so supportive.
Right. Right. So that's the true goals right there. And I tried to even include some representation with my own show, Neon Lights. Having characters. One character in particular was a BIPOC, gay male, and then I had other characters that were bisexual, and just again, not to try and shove any agenda down anyone's throat, but just to say, hey, like these people exist.
Yeah, like they exist. Get over yourself. Like
Hmm.
they're here. They're queer. Get used to it. Like it's
Come on, 90s cliche.
exactly. It's like they're like, "Oh, you going to hell? Okay, cool. Are you gonna be there? Nope. All right then."
Whoosh.
All right, what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying when I was watching TV years back, I never really paid attention to any like orientation and stuff until basically you like when you told me that you bonbon on the tauntauns, you know.
Oh,
It could be whatever
I don't know,
you
man.
want to be.
Whatever you want to
Yeah.
call your tauntauns.
And then like later on, Jimmy basically put me on his like watch list, quote unquote. Then I just started noticing it, and I'm actually like, you know what, I'm good for that. You know what?
Whoosh.
All right, yeah, you're good now. What were you saying?
Oh, how far did I get?
You got to. I like them. I like them gay guys because I like the touch,
Hell yeah!
like the touchy feely kind of things.
They don't call me the silver bear for nothing, right?
Get the hell out of here!
Have y'all watched the new season of Stranger Things yet?
Yes, I've already finished. Yes.
Okay.
That
So,
was
like,
super fun.
I think Will is a great example of queer coding on that show.
Oh my god, yes.
Because like clearly the painting he was painting at the very beginning of the season.
What was for Mike, right?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
so he's definitely, I think, coded
Well,
queer.
there's also a scene in the school where the girl like touches his leg and like he like disgusted about it.
Yeah, he
And he
pulls
was like,
away.
Yeah.
And so, they have good representation there, but also with the, closeted, I can't remember her name, Uma Thurman's kid,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
Ethan Hawke's kid, Maya Hawke, whatever her character's name is.
Yeah.
Who, Max?
No, not Max.
Oh, Robin.
Yes.
She's lesbian. Yes.
Yes. So, they've got great representation there as well. Do y'all watch The Boys?
Yes. Yes.
Have y'all
love
seen
The
the new
Boys.
season?
Yes.
Not yet. I just started.
Billy's just started The Boys. It's adorable.
Oh God! So I'm not gonna spoil it for you, Billy. But in season 3, episode 1, there's a character named Termite, and he's got about maybe 3 or 4 minutes of screen time. But man, that is the true meaning of gay pride right there.
I like how they like started that season like in June. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
He Termite's sneeze is the true meaning of gay pride. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Did you watch Deplorables yet?
I've not.
Give it a watch. It's a short version of The Boys, basically, and there's a couple
Is
of
that the animated thing? Okay.
Give it a watch. It's on Amazon Prime if you got it.
I do.
And there's a couple of gay characters in there, and I'm not going to really get into it too much because I don't want to spoil it for you because it's fantastic.
Okay, I definitely will. Another thing that I am hopeful that we'll see more of is transgender representation in media. I can't speak on that too much simply because I am a cisgendered white male, and so my viewpoint is very limited. But it seems like every generation there is a community that kind of becomes the target of a lot of conservative attacks.
Yes.
and this one
Yeah.
right now is the transgender community.
Well, it's the next one in the line. That's what it is. It's the next one in line. It's they're okay with gays right now, and just now it's trans is the new scary one.
Right.
It used to be gays, and
Right.
yeah.
It's they're
Oh.
the boogeyman.
Yeah. And
Uh,
so you go from that to this, and I'll say one thing. Okay, so talking back to media, there's a really really good show called Sense8, which actually has an actual transgender person playing
Yes.
the transgender person in the show, and it was fantastic. And I believe there's someone in the show who's a ranger. I think, if I remember correctly, there's a ranger in the show somewhere down the
Is
line.
there?
I believe so. I'm like 90% sure there's a ranger in the show down the line somewhere. Like one of the seasons, like one support characters was a ranger.
Well, and I mean that whole series was developed by the Wachowski sisters,
Mm-hmm.
who are arguably, some of the most famous transgender people in Hollywood.
Yep,
Wow.
yep.
And so they have a platform which they can bring these characters out. It's just, I know with the failings of the latest Matrix film,
That was forced.
yeah,
Very.
They didn't want to do it, but they were forced into it with a contract. Yay, contracts! And actually, if you watch their one of their older movies called, not older movies, but one of their movies called Cloud Atlas.
Cloud Atlas. Yeah, I saw that in theaters actually.
I did too. It was a
I
long movie.
I was one of two people, and I think you were the other person that saw it in the theaters.
Yeah.
And it was really, 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 really pretty. And I liked it, and it's so the young guy and his boyfriend, and it's just so sad. It's just amazing. I love it.
Sometimes at work, we listen to Willis.
Willie?
No, the trans that does music.
Oh, Little Nas X?
I think, huh?
Little Nas?
No,
Lil Nas is
no.
not trans.
Yeah,
No.
he's super gay though. I love it.
Will was on RuPaul's, I think.
Oh, okay.
Willem?
Willem. That's it. There you go.
Okay, Willem is not trans. Willem is a drag queen. So here's a little education
okay.
for you.
Ooh, they get schooled.
Yeah, you are. So drag queens and transgendered women are not one and the same.
Oh.
There can be overlap between the two communities. So you can be transgender and be a drag queen. But you can also be a drag queen and be a cisgendered male, and not even necessarily a gay cisgendered male.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few, but there are straight men that do drag as well. So, do any of y'all watch Drag Race?
I've watched a couple episodes, but
Y'all
it's not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea.
Y'all are missing out.
It's the one I've seen is really fun. I like watching them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely credit that show for bringing a lot of strength and power to the gay community.
Mhm.
There's a reason they call it like the gay Super Bowl.
Okay.
Well,
I get it.
if you know who RuPaul is, he was in a show like
So one of his first appearances was on a talk show. I think it might have been Maury at this time, but it was a talk show that did a expose on the club kid community, and so they had him, and I think Michael Alec was on there, who famously butchered his ex-boyfriend in like a drug-fueled rage. But yeah, that was like an underground scene of the clubs of the 80s in New York.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really fascinating. And so like club culture and ballroom culture specifically have done like a lot of like bringing that into the spotlight. There's an HBO Max show called Legendary, which is like ball culture. So you have a lot of drag queens and trans performers and gay men that do some really incredible creative stuff. I highly recommend even just watching like a couple clips of that show.
What's it called again? Legendary?
Legendary. Yeah.
I'm about to look that.
They do some incredible shit on that show. Whoosh.
What do you think about representation finally? Well, not finally, but coming into the PR community.
So I am going to be honest. I had not watched a season of PR in a long time.
Mhm.
The last season I watched was
Turbo.
RPM,
God. Yeah.
RPM, or SPD, whatever one came later. But
RPM.
well, so the last time I watched a season of Power Rangers when it was airing was Turbo.
Okay.
Okay.
The rest of them I watched on the DVD collections.
Huh.
But I think it's fantastic how they did it. I know there was a lot of chatter that they were gonna do it, and a lot of people speculated when they took away like her skirt.
Yeah, people.
Oh yeah.
Some people got mad about that, which I was
I
like,
don't-
well, what the-
I don't
what are
see
you
what's
mad about
wrong with that. I like
Like,
that,
we've had a ton of Yellow Rangers without skirts. Come on, calm down.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of parent groups were like up in arms, and parents, and that's the thing is that people are always going to find something to be mad about.
For real.
And like, I'm sure there were adults that were mad about that didn't even have kids.
Yeah.
Oh,
There,
dude,
there was a couple people who got banned off the Facebook Power Ranger like fan groups
Really?
like that I'm on that were mad about it. They got banned within about 20 minutes, which was
dude,
great.
I'd be embarrassed to be early to
30.
mid 30s, early to
Getting-
mid 30s bitching about that.
Yeah.
Get mad about a damn TV show? Come on, man!
Yeah,
like,
come
grow
on.
up.
It's meant, it's not meant for our demographic age.
It's definitely not.
And then you guys scream about the children. Like, well, do you want the children to be better than you?
Mhm.
But also even like I think there's some representation in the comics, the Power Ranger comics
Yes.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, like wherever we can get it is, but the thing is, and this is just a personal opinion, I think it needs to be done in a tasteful way, where it is not like we're introducing these gay characters, or we're retconning 30 years of established lore and making them gay, so look at how great we are. Look at the allyship.
All right, Iceman.
So Iceman I have mixed feelings about, because yes, he was an established character, but he was not one that had, I would consider, a very fleshed out sort of history.
Yeah.
The one that I did kind of raise an eyebrow at was, Scott, Jean, and Logan being in a throuple.
Oh yeah. There's also there's a comic where Logan and Nightcrawler hook up.
I remember, yeah, you telling me about that.
That was weird.
And so I think it's got to be done in a way that doesn't disrespect the source material.
Yeah.
And just builds upon.
Well, like look at have you seen Invincible yet?
I've not.
Oh,
Well, there's a gay character in Invincible. He's just like the his best friend, but it's it's a couple jokes that he makes about himself, and that's about it. And like he goes on a date, he talks about how he came out and stuff, and it was really really well done. I liked it quite a bit, and that's kind of how I think it should be done. It's just kind of it's there, like it's not it's not a plot point, like it's just their life, like that's what it is,
right?
Yeah, that's how I think it should be for like most gay characters in most shows. They're just gay, cool,
and that's kind of how I approached my character in my own series. Is that they were not explicitly like, I'm gay and here's an episode about my tragic coming out story. It was more of like, subtle hints were dropped. Like it started off as a queer coded character, but like it became fully fleshed out, in later episodes, where going back watching previous ones, you're like, oh yeah, I can absolutely see that, because it's just their life. It's who they are. It's not a big deal. Did not need to be made about that character's sexual orientation.
Yeah, like just we don't like it's there. Get out of your damn
And I mean I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I definitely appreciate how open and supporting you guys have been with conversations about the queer community and queer characters that we've had, not only today but in other conversations, because we need more allies and people with platforms like you to bring this out.
Oh man, wait, we just get complimented? Yes.
Look, I know it's the first time. Don't let it go to your head. I do drop compliments on occasion. I'm just don't tell anybody I said it.
All right, well, we'll cut that whole section out of this episode.
Yeah.
We'll use a soundbite later. But like, he said it once. I
Mm.
swear.
Yeah.
But another big thing that I think needs to happen is queer representation in video games.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how extensive of gamers you guys are, but so there are, you know, the BioWare games, like these open world RPGs where you kind of create and craft your own narrative. You know, your characters there are gay romance options in these games.
Yeah.
And that, I think it's more of a telling narrative of like you kind of create the character you want to create, which I think is great. But you also have there's a game called The Last of Us.
Yes.
Very, very famous PlayStation game. Incredible game. And in the first game, you're playing as this guy, Joel, and he kind of takes this girl, Ellie, under his wing. And in the second game, Ellie has grown up some. And very early on in the second game, you realize that Ellie is gay. And a lot of people had a lot of problems with that.
I remember that. Yeah, people were kind of mad about that. And then, who is she based on? Ellen Page or Elliot Page now.
Yeah.
Right? And people were mad about that too. And I'm like, calm down.
Yeah. And there was another character in the game, Abby, who she was a very muscular, strong woman. And so people initially thought she was a trans character, when in actuality, the trans character in the game was this Asian male who was female at birth, transitioned to male. And so there was a big leak of the game, like in story points and plot points before the game initially came out, right?
Yeah.
So Naughty Dog was hacked, and there was a big like info dump. And so when all of this started coming out, like people were furious. And so I think that is one area of the nerd culture that there needs to be more of a concerted effort to have these characters.
I know you get a lot of representation, and you get a lot of rep in indie games. Indie games are great about it, like Undertale, and there's a list, but they're great about it because they're not trying to sell it to a huge audience. But when you get to like Naughty Dog, well, like Cyberpunk 2077 had gay options in Cyberpunk, but like people still got mad about that. The Witcher has gay options. Come on.
Does it?
Yeah, you got a couple gay options. Yeah, in The Witcher 3, you have a couple of gay options, but then you got the girl who, questionable. I'm gonna leave it like that. And yeah, so it's ridiculous. Like indie games are great, but look at Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That was a fun game and a great little
That's right.
a comic strip and a fun little movie. Like the Ramona was bisexual,
and also his roommate played by
Will?
Kieran Culkin. I don't remember the character's name, but yeah.
Bread will make you fat. What?
Yeah. So yeah. That sums up my whole sort of spiel on representation in media. And so if you still have people listening to this episode, thank you for at least being open-minded enough to listen to another person's viewpoint.
Yeah, get to the nonsense. Yeah. And I know we haven't been super funny today, but
we haven't, but that's okay.
Yeah, I haven't talked very much because
the Wi-Fi's been cutting out.
Thanks.
Yes,
guys.
that too.
You know what? I just want to hear like from y'all side because I don't see like this on a daily basis.
Well, you're a straight guy, and so it's not really a part of the conversation you have normally. So
yeah, exactly.
Whoosh.
Hi, this is Ben from Baker Rangers, and if you like Zeo to Hero and movies, then come check out Baker Rangers Movie Talk. This is a place where we talk about movies we love, and even some obscure movies that we may have not heard about. Check us out on Baker Rangers on YouTube and wherever you find your podcast.
Whoosh.
Thanks again, Clayton, for coming on to the show and showing us the different side of the rainbow. Wait, is that appropriate to say?
I mean, I cannot speak for the whole gay community,
Oh,
but I like to think of this as I gave you some mental poppers and opened you up just a little bit.
that's what she said. He said, you know.
Mhm.
But thanks again for coming on. It's been very interesting. I know I didn't talk very much, but definitely love hearing this conversation from both of y'all. Jim, don't let them
What?
find you on Bigfoot Hunters. And
They got to make their money somehow, man.
definitely,
I'm in on the cut now. It's great.
definitely follow us on our socials at Zeo to Hero across the board. Any last words, Clayton?
Just again, thank you to your listeners that have stuck through this deep think piece of queer representation in nerd media. If you've stuck with us this far, I appreciate you either being an ally, being part of the community, or having an open enough mind to listen to counter perspectives.
Sweet.
No.
Anything else, Jim?
Thanks, Clayton, for being on. Don't worry. Like, we'll have you back on again soon.
Yeah,
We
I
like
look
having you
forward to
on.
it. Let
And-
me get transitioned, back to Dallas
Yeah.
and settled in, and then I'd be more than happy to come
When
back.
you get up here, we're gonna stuff you full of brownies,
Yeah.
or sweets. I got you. And
Just stuff me. I don't care how you do it.
God
okay,
dang.
I got you. And for all everyone else out there, you can find us at zeotoheropod across the board, or Zeo to Hero across the board. Remember, we have a Ko-Fi set up with Zeo at Zeo to Hero, and it's all in the links in the description. And I'm gonna have everything we talked about in the description today as well, so you guys can check it all out and whatnot.
Mhm.
And besides that, though, I hope everyone has a great rest of the weekend. Good luck
And-
out there. Have
And
fun.
remember, everybody, stay fresh, cheese bags.
Happy Pride Month.
It was that lady at Starbucks too, right?
That was it. Still in May.
Oh,
and
okay.
Jim very graciously glared at her, and made her move.
Oh no,
kind
no.
of. He picked up a cement
The
parking-
parking stopper.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Park stopper.
I moved out of the way. I just picked it up and moved it, and she moved.
yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
And she didn't bother me at all because she got right behind me. I got in my car and she moved back, and I'm like, good. Bye.
Mm.
Oh, that was fantastic.